Alright, well it's time to get started on the Pro Mod of my Charvel Pro-Mod. The first thing I'm going to tackle is the pickups and the electronics. I'm going to flip the guitar over. I've already taken the back plate off here. We need to remove the strings so that we can access the pickups. So I find the easiest way to do this with something like a Floyd Rose, since the strings are locked into the tremolo, is to just remove the tremolo. I'm just going to take some pliers and just start removing some springs. Okay, there, I got caught on the little piece of felt. I can easily access the pickups. Since the strings are locked into the nut at the top of the neck, I'm just going to remove the neck. I have removed the neck and I can smell the polyurethane finish. Now look at that nice clean pocket route. That's beautiful. Now what I have is a smaller piece that's much easier to work on. We're gonna basically gut all the electronics, so I don't have to be super careful because all of that stuff's gonna get replaced. I don't want to destroy anything obviously, but I don't have to be like in there with the soldering iron trying to remove every single connection. And we're gonna remove the back plate. What I need to do now is detach the pickup connections first so that I can go ahead and remove the pickups. So since I'm going to remove these pickups entirely, I'm just going to snip it right at the base where the wiring starts to sort of spread out. There's our neck pickup lead. Let's go ahead and snip that right at it. Alright, so now both of our pickups are disconnected. And now we need to remove the pickups. Alright, so there's our bridge pickup pulled out. You can see it's got some compression foam on it, and that's what keeps the pickup raised against the tension of the screws. So we're going to remove that foam because we're going to use that again later. Now we should be able to just pull this right on through. And same thing for the neck pickup. This is one of the screws from the neck pickup. I had a lot of hard time getting a hold of it, and I was thinking to myself, why am I having such a hard time with this? So I looked down in there, and sure enough, the head was stripped out and the screw was kind of bent. So that makes me think that probably that someone, when they were doing this on the assembly line, they were using a little power drill and they didn't quite get a good hold on it, and it started to go in a little cockeyed, and they just forced it. So gonna need to replace that screw for sure. We'll go ahead and remove our neck pickup. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the jack through here, so you can see. I'm gonna reuse this jack, but I'm gonna go ahead and just snip it right here at the end. This right here, this is our ground wire that's going to the trim claw in the back. So I want to keep as much length on that as I can. So I'm going to snip that right at the base where it connects to the tone pot. Get that out of the way, so it won't be in the way while we're doing other stuff. I don't accidentally clip it. Okay, so now if I've not missed any connections, this whole thing should just come right out now. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so now our body is completely gutted of electronics. You can see there, you see right through it. And so now what we need to do is build the new harness that's gonna go in here. All right, so I've got a piece of cardboard. This is just a flat from a box. And all I needed to do is cover everything that I need to make a template for. So that's plenty enough. So, and I just need it to sit still so that I can do a little trace. So I'm just gonna put down a couple of pieces of paint tape just to hold it still. So now I can flip the body over, and you probably can't really see it, but you can see the cardboard through the holes. So what I need to do now is take something like a marker, a pen, a pencil, something, and just kind of outline where those holes are. Alright, so now I've traced it out using a mechanical pencil just because it has a really thin, fine tip and it allows me to get in there where the switch would be. So now we'll flip the guitar back over. Remove this paint tape. You can see this is the view from the back. So there's our volume pot, there's our tone pot, there's our three-way switch. Just a big V for volume here, and a T for tone. Okay, so now we've got our little template made here. I just poked the holes through just big enough to be able to get the pots and the switch through. I'm not going to show you every step of this process, but I'll give you a general idea of how I go about doing this. When you're soldering, you got to think about the order in which you do things. Because if you do something that's higher up first, but you need to do something lower than that, That means that later when you come in with a soldering iron, you're gonna have to go underneath some wires and you're more likely to burn something that way. So I try to always start from the bottom and work up. Classic 80s soldering iron that just works like a boss. So that's a good solder joint right there. What we're looking for is a nice, even pool that's shiny, solid, doesn't move. You don't want to put too much on there because it'll end up running and that's going to ruin your day later. There we go. So now what we've got is a nice sturdy cap there that I can move with my thumb and the cap doesn't move. So now that I've done that, I can go ahead and clip off the excess here. So you want to be careful just to clip off the excess, don't clip the cap itself. Now you should be able to see you got a little bit sticking out. I could probably clip that a little closer actually. So now we've got all our major components connected. So then the next thing I like to do is go ahead and connect all the ground connections. This is pushback wire. I have white and black. I use black for ground and white for hot. So now we're going to be using our black wire because I'm going to do all my ground connections. The bridge ground has to connect to some point. So in this diagram, they have it connected to the volume pot. That's fine. All grounds have to connect back to the volume pot in some way. You could, for instance, run the tone pot to the volume pot, and then you could run the switch to the tone pot. That would be fine. You could also run the tone pot to the volume pot and the switch also to the volume pot. That's fine as well. What you don't want to do is have multiple connections making some kind of loop. You want to try to keep it as linear as you can. And also, of course, the pickups are going to have to be grounded as well. So I'm intending on basically grounding everything to the volume pot, which is going to make it a little bit crowded up here, but that's not too big a deal. So I'm going to turn the camera off while I do this because it's just kind of boring to watch me do like a bunch of tiny little wire connections, but let's go ahead and get the ground connections going. Hey, and we're back in the room. So the first part of that video I shot like a month ago. What ended up happening is that I ran into setback after setback after setback with this guitar project, in between other things like, you know, being a dad and life and stuff. So first of all, the main thing, and this is completely on me, I, like a dummy, did not measure to make sure that that switch would fit this body cavity correctly. The screws that hold the switch in were not long enough to reach all the way through the top of the guitar to the switch. Even if the screws were long enough, the switch wouldn't be close enough to allow the travel of the switch to go up and down as well as back and forth. So how do you fix that problem? You route out the cavity. By hand with a Dremel, basically route out a little dip for the switch to sit in. So I had to route out, I don't know, probably 1/8 of an inch, if not maybe a little bit more, down into the body, just a little bit at a time. So what I had to do is just do it a little bit at a time, check the switch fit, not enough, do a little bit more, check the switch fit, because you got to go really, really slow because you're dealing with only a tiny little bit of wood here and you don't want to compromise the structural integrity of the top. I've got a picture I'll throw up on screen of what that switch route looks like. So after I did that, I was like, all right, I got this. The rest of this stuff's wired up. Now let's put it in here. So I put it in there. The switch was bad. It's probably uncommon. So I reached out to Stu Mac where I got the switch and I said, hey, I think I got a faulty switch. I've tried a number of different things trying to make sure I could work. I even took the switch apart to see if I could see anything. They were really super cool about it and they said, oh man, that's awful. We're gonna immediately send you a new switch, no questions asked. You don't have to worry about sending us back the old one, whatever. We're just gonna send you one right now. Awesome, thank you Stu Mac. Greatly appreciate that. Good customer service. Sure enough, the switch was the problem because I put the new switch in, it immediately worked. Because of all that, I didn't have the rest of this stuff videotaped because I just kept running into things and it was like hard for me to do 30 minutes at a time and try and videotape it and cut it all together. So that's all you get of the process. We have now the new pickups installed, which are my signature Planet Tones to Terra pickups. Look at them, they're lovely. Chrome covered with the gold screws, which I just think looks super classy. I just have a regular master volume and master tone control. These pots don't do anything. They're not push-pull, push-push, anything like that. All of the switching happens with the actual three-way switch itself, because the three-way switch itself is actually a six-way switch, right? So it has basically 3 positions. If you're looking at it down, it has 3 positions this way, and then you can flip it up in the other direction, then it has another 3 positions, so 6 positions. So when it's down like this, I have the bridge pickup in humbucking mode. And then in the middle position down, both pickups together in humbucking mode. And then all the way forward would be our neck humbucker in humbucking mode. And then what you can do now is go back to the bridge position or from anywhere, and then you can flip the switch up. All right, you hear the click. So now I have 3 more positions, and these are going to be the same bridge, both, and the neck, but now the pickups are split. So here's our bridge humbucker split. Both pickups split. And then the neck pickup split. So that gives me 6 different tonal options that I have on tap. Haha! Okay, so sorry, can't play today, but I'm getting this video out regardless. It needed to be done so I can move on to the next step. So then the next step, like I mentioned in the first part of the series that I've got to fix, is the kind of tuning stability and you know, being able to do double stop bends and stuff like that, because as I said, that's kind of a problem for me because I like to do double stop bends. So I'm going to do a much more detailed video on that, so hopefully I won't run into a million setbacks like I did with this one, and it won't take so long. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Give me a like, a subscribe. If you would like to support me in any way, you can buy me a coffee or you can become a patron. All of that is in the description below. And until the next part in this series, I will catch you later.